all the political parties underestimated how strongly public feeling was running on immigration from Eastern Europe. With the imminent lifting of restrictions on people wanting to come here from Romania and Bulgaria to work, it was perhaps inevitable that the government would announce a new policy. There aren't many votes in speaking up for migrants to this country. When a European Commissioner starts using words like nasty to describe attitudes here, he may even be reaping a political dividend. Jim Reid reports.
Anybody like perfume?
Market day in Northampton, and among the veggies and fresh fruit, different voices from different parts of Europe.
My mother just come and visit me, that's it.
I know.
She just speaks sometimes, you know.
Latvians shopping for Christmas cards, Bulgarians serving burgers.
Immigration from Central Europe has really changed market towns like this. 1 in 6 people in Northampton were born outside the UK, a figure that's doubled in just the last 10 years. Polish is now the second most spoken language in the whole county.
Market traders here like the extra business, but many have real reservations about immigration.
Definitely put pressure on services, and especially the education sector and hospitals. But I think, in essence, they do bring something to the community.
It's brought a lot more people to the town, but at the same time it's also brought a lot more crime to the town.
One good thing about them all is that they do tend to use the market, so it is keeping the market going. If anything, they do tend to like shopping on markets.
In 2004, Tony Blair had the option to impose transitional controls, locking Eastern Europeans out of the labour market for 7 years. He decided against it. That, the Prime Minister said today, was a monumental mistake. Now our labour market rules must be tightened.
Well, to anyone, and this is not just Romanians or Bulgarians, to anyone in other European Union countries thinking of coming to Britain because it's easier to claim benefits, housing benefit or unemployment benefit, I think it's very important to send a clear message out that that is not the case.
Under the new plans, EU migrants will get no out-of-work benefits for the first 3 months they're in the country, and payments will be stopped after 6 months unless the claimant has a genuine chance of getting a job. Migrants will not be able to claim housing benefit immediately, and those caught begging or sleeping rough will be deported with no return within a year. On Wellingborough Road, a short walk from the town centre, Polish delicatessens, Romanian supermarkets, now an everyday sight in many British towns. David Cameron's plan to tighten those welfare rules was met with derision by the European Commission today. The UK, it says, risks looking like the nasty man of Europe.
Free movement is not negotiable as long as you are a member of the Union, as long as you are a member of the single market. And I cannot understand, on one hand, I don't understand the political logic, you see, because Great Britain has always and continues to be a big promoter of enlargement.
In an office nearby is Paul Kuznecovs. He came to Northampton from Latvia in 2001 to start his own employment agency, bringing workers over from Eastern Europe.
I talk to many people, you know, and what people say is that this system, benefit system, is very generous. I would say even over generous, you know. I came to instances when people come from abroad and they don't really work. The thing is, it's not something what they made up. You know, they just follow an example, you know, and there are plenty of examples in here, around here.
Examples of what? British workers?
Yeah, claiming benefits, you know, I think the cause is in there, not in immigrants coming and claiming benefits, you know, we shouldn't give them these examples.
At the local Romanian supermarket, these cashiers already have a visa to work in this country. In just 35 days' time, labour market rules will be relaxed, opening up the jobs market to all 28 million citizens of both Romania and Bulgaria. A series of polls over the last week have shown significant levels of public opposition to that change. But the manager here is angry at any suggestion more migrants will flock over just to claim benefits.
I can see on the street or in my shop plenty of English people which are not working. So I can't pretend that all Romanians are good or all Romanians are the best or something like that. No, are people which don't want to work. They're coming here just to steal or to claim benefit. But they already came.
The debate about the impact of Romanian and Bulgarian migration is still raging. The Prime Minister today still wouldn't name even a rough number for the amount of workers he expects to arrive in January. Estimates range from 16,000 right up to 50,000 in the first year. Today's welfare restrictions really amount to tinkering with the rules. In the longer term, David Cameron wants more control over immigration policy, maybe even the ability to block migration if numbers break a set level. That, though, will need agreement at EU level, and that will be far more difficult.
Well, Konstantin Dimitrov is the Bulgarian ambassador to the UK. The Conservative MP Nigel Mills moved an amendment to the government's immigration bill requiring that controls on immigration from the two countries remain in force until the end of 2018. Do you think David Cameron's gone far enough today?
I think the measures he announced overnight were a welcome step in the right direction. There's been a lot of concern that our welfare system is perhaps more easy to access for recently arrived migrants than other European ones. So I think he's going in the right direction, but I don't think he's tackled all the issues we need to tackle.
He's not gone far enough?
No, not yet.
Do you think these controls that he's announced today will put anybody off coming from Bulgaria, say, to Britain?
Well, not necessarily, except, of course, for the clear announcement that the access to your social welfare system will be additionally tightened, something of which, by the way, Bulgarians are pretty well aware as a result of our own information campaign.
So it'll have pretty little effect?
Well, that won't be any factor, because what I would like to explain is the following thing, that right now most of the work permits for which people from Bulgaria apply are approved. So those who have come here to work haven't usually done so, even though under this restriction regime. So the 1st of January will not bring about a qualitative change in terms of the accessibility of the labor market, which has nothing to do with the issue of the access to the social welfare system, if we want to be very precise.
Do you have any idea of what numbers we're talking about?
Well, the government won't give us a number. I mean, there are some independent...
But do you know what you're talking about?
Well, there are some independent estimates that say somewhere between... somewhere up to 70,000 a year for the first 5 years, 70,000, so an average maybe 50,000 a year for 5 years, 250,000. I think the evidence what happened when there were no restrictions on Poland and the other A8 was far more people came here than were expected to come.
Do you have any idea what you're talking about?
Well, we only say the following thing because we've been pressed all the time about predictions. We cannot predict, we're not crystal ball gazers. However, this year between 8,000 to 10,000 Bulgarians came to work legally in the UK. We don't see any prerequisite for a rise in this annual trend next year. That's what I can say.
So it's all clear as mud, really, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, you're talking 250,000 over 5 years. You're talking of a figure of 8 or 10 or something.
Yes, for next year. And this is, as I said, just trying to extrapolate the experience of this year onto next, because, as I say, we cannot see prerequisites for a qualitative change for an enlargement of the attractiveness of your country.
I mean, those numbers aren't that far apart. If you add in the Romanians to the Bulgarian numbers the ambassador's quoting, I suspect there must be something like 30,000 on those numbers. It's within the range we're talking about.
Do you worry when you hear a European Commissioner talking about Britain as being seen as the nasty country?
I think we'd rather be seen as the tough country than nasty, but I'm not sure. I think I don't think we want to be the soft touch where people can come to the UK.
You'd rather be seen as nasty than a soft touch.
Yes. I'm not sure I'd choose nasty as the description. But
what would you choose?
I say tough but fair is probably what we want. I mean, there's no reason why we should be more attractive than France or Germany to people.
Ambassador, would you like to explain to our viewers why it is they should pay their taxes in order that your citizens should be entitled to benefits here?
Well, I'm afraid that this is not the right way to present the situation.
Well, that's the question I'm asking, though.
That is right, but may I just respond to you in a slightly different manner? Most of those who come here are young people, usually single, not married, between 15 and 35. They come here to work, and a very low percentage of their income comes from your social benefit system. They earn their daily bread by working.
But they may all have noble intentions, but misfortune happens to all of us.
That is true.
Can you explain to our viewers why they should pay their taxes in order that your citizens can be helped if they get into need here?
They pay their taxes, but also our citizens working in the UK are paying their taxes in your country as well. So they're not free riders in their prevalent majority.
There is something in that argument, isn't there?
Well, that is what statistics says. You know, you should look at it and see that Bulgaria is outside of the, first 18 top countries whose citizens have access to your social security system. That is something we should respect, I would suggest.
This isn't going to happen anyway, is it? These restrictions.
Well,
the EU won't allow it to happen.
Well, that would be an interesting challenge, won't it? If Parliament says actually that deal we signed nearly 10 years ago is no longer.
You can't be a member
interest.
of a club and then decide selectively there are some rules you want to obey and some you don't want to obey.
I think we could probably find lots of examples from nearly every country in the Union that has done exactly that.
You really think that the EU will allow this to happen?
Well, I suspect the EU won't be very keen on this happening, but I think their point is if we in Parliament say, look, this is it's not in our national interest now to lift these restrictions at this time, we need to keep them in place while we're still recovering from the terrible recession we had. I think that should be a powerful message that that's what we think is our national interest. I think some of the measures the Prime Minister announced today, I think that the Home Secretary admitted earlier, may well not meet with favour in the European Commission either, so I don't think it's entirely unusual for nations to
You've been around all over Europe. You've been a European politician.
For a short period of time, yes.
All right, outside the statute of limitations.
Yeah.
But do you think it is at all feasible that these sort of restrictions could be introduced unilaterally in one member state?
We have to study very carefully the political intentions in Mr. Cameron's article. They are yet to be transformed into concrete legislative or administrative acts. And then we will say what is permissible under the applicable European Union legislation and what is not. And of course, the Commission will also have its say. That is, I think, the right answer as we speak hours after Mr. Cameron's article came to our attention.
Okay, thank you both very much. Thank you.